I swear this happened. If you've ever done gig work, rideshare, food delivery, package runs, you know how your brain works after a while. You stop seeing jobs. You see pings. You see addresses. You see the fastest route and the easiest parking spot. That mindset is exactly why this got as far as it did. This took place in Atlanta, Georgia, on a rainy Thursday in early spring. I was doing evening deliveries after my day job because rent was up and my savings were down. I didn't have a set goal, just keep accepting until it feels stupid. At 7:06 p.m., I got a request that looked like a normal same-day courier run. Pickup Midtown drop-off, Buckhead pay $38. 50 time estimate 18 minutes. The customer name was M. Stone. No profile picture. No notes. That happens a lot. Business runs, office-to-office paperwork, stuff people don't want to drive across town in the rain. I accepted. At 7:12 p.m., I pulled into a small office building with a covered loading area. Not a warehouse, more like a professional building with a shared lobby. The pickup pin in the app put me right outside a side door marked Suites 200 to 260. Rain slapped the windshield in bursts. The kind that makes everything glossy and blurry at the same time. I parked, put my hazards on, and waited for the customer handoff prompt. Instead, my phone buzzed with a message inside the app. Please call when arrived. I hit call. It rang once, then went to voicemail. No custom greeting. Just the default robotic voice. I didn't love that, but I shrugged it off. People ignore calls. People use burner numbers. Whatever. At 7:15 p.m., the side door opened and a man stepped out. Mid-30s. Average build. Black rain jacket with the hood up. He held a small padded envelope, the kind you'd mail a passport in. He didn't look like he worked in a warehouse. More like office staff trying not to get wet. He walked straight to my passenger window. I cracked it an inch. Courier? He asked. Yeah, I said. 4M, Stone. He nodded like that matched. He didn't smile. Didn't introduce himself. Just slid the envelope toward the gap. Before I took it, I asked the basic question I always ask. Can you confirm the drop-off address? He glanced down at his phone like he was checking something. Then he said, Should be Buckhead. Office tower. They'll meet you. That's not a confirmation. That's a vibe. I should have declined right there. But the envelope looked harmless. Light. No weird smell. No bulge. No ticking. Just paper. I took it. He didn't ask for my name. He didn't ask me to sign. He didn't ask for anything. He simply said, Don't be late, and walked back inside. The doors shut behind him. At 7:16 p.m., my app updated. Item picked up. Proceed to drop off. A route appeared. Buckhead. Exactly what I expected. I pulled out and merged into traffic, wipers fighting the rain. 5 minutes later, 7:21 p.m., the app did something I had never seen before. The route blinked. The destination changed. Not a little adjustment. Not. Use a different entrance. A completely new address. Drop off, industrial area, near Fulton Industrial Boulevard pay, unchanged. Time estimate, now 28 minutes. And a new message popped up. Address updated. Follow app. I stared at it too long and almost missed a brake light. Fulton Industrial is not Buckhead. It's the opposite vibe. It's where the roads get wider and emptier and everything is fenced. I pulled into a gas station and parked under the canopy at 7:24 p.m. Rain hammered the roof like a drumline. I messaged the customer through the app. Destination changed. Confirm drop-off? 3 dots appeared like they were typing, then disappeared. No reply. I hit the Call Customer button again. This time, someone answered instantly. A woman's voice. Calm. Very businesslike. Hello? Hi, I said. This is your courier. The drop-off address changed from Buckhead to Fulton Industrial. I just need to confirm that's correct. No, she said immediately. It's Buckhead. My stomach tightened. The app shows Fulton Industrial now. I said. That's not correct. She repeated. Delivered to Buckhead. That's the office. Okay, I said, relieved. Then can you update it back? It's routing me elsewhere. A pause. Just long enough to feel odd. I can't, she said. It's handled automatically. Just follow the last address I sent. You didn't send anything, I said, and my tone sharpened without me meaning it to. Another pause. Then she said very softly, Do you have the envelope? Yes. What's the return label say? She asked. I looked down at the envelope on my passenger seat. There was no label. No postage. No return address. Just a sealed flap. It doesn't have one, I said. Again a pause. Then her voice changed slightly, still calm, but the edges got colder. Okay, she said. Just take it to the address in the app. But you just said Buckhead, I said. Which is it? She didn't answer that. She said, If you cancel, we'll report the item as stolen. Then she hung up. I stared at my phone like it had insulted me. At that moment, the easiest move was to cancel, toss the envelope back at the office, and go home. But she'd planted something in my brain with that one sentence, stolen. I didn't want a report. I didn't want my account flagged. I didn't want a stupid problem over a stupid envelope. That's the trap with gig work. You're always one issue away from losing the little income stream you rely on. So at 7:28 p.m., I did the dumb thing. I followed the app. The rain eased up as I drove west. Not stopped, just softened into a steady hiss. Traffic thinned. Buildings got lower. Streetlights got farther apart. At 7:46 p.m., I exited onto a service road lined with warehouses and chain-link fences. The kind of area where every building has the same blank face and every driveway looks like the wrong one. My app's drop-off pin wasn't at a building entrance. It was in the middle of a side street. Literally, a dot next to a stretch of fence. No business name. No suite number. No. Leave at reception. Just a pin on asphalt. I slowed and drove past it once, then looped around. There were 2 parked vehicles on the shoulder near the pin. A white cargo van with no markings. A dark sedan with tinted windows. No hazard lights. No movement. Just waiting. I told myself, maybe it's a construction crew. Maybe it's someone meeting me outside. Then my phone buzzed with a new message. Pull up. Do not park. That made my skin prickle. I didn't answer. I kept rolling forward slowly. As soon as my car lined up with the pin, the cargo van's side door slid open. A man stepped out into the rain. He wore a reflective vest. Hood up. Hands empty. He raised one hand, palm down, making a slow down gesture, like he'd done it 100 times. I stopped with my car still in drive, foot on the brake. I didn't put it in park. The man walked toward my passenger side. I kept the window up. He leaned down, close enough that his breath fogged the glass. He smiled and pointed at the envelope. Hand it over, he said. Not. Hi. Not. Are you the courier? Not. Thanks. Just hand it over. I shook my head. Who are you? I asked through the glass. He tapped the window twice, impatient. Customer, he said. Give it. I looked past him toward the van. 2 more men were now visible inside, sitting low like they'd been waiting for a signal. The sedan's headlights turned on. My heartbeat started doing that stupid climbing thing. I grabbed my phone and hit the "Call Customer" button again, hoping to put the app on speaker and force accountability. It didn't ring. It went straight to voicemail. The man outside the window saw my phone and his smile dropped. He reached for my door handle. Not a gentle pull. A test. The handle didn't open because my doors were locked. His eyes snapped to mine through the glass. He stepped back and did a small hand motion toward the van, 2 fingers quick. The van's engine started. That's when my brain finally stopped negotiating. At 7:49 p.m., I hit the gas. Not a dramatic burnout. Just a hard, clean pull forward. The man slapped the side of my car as I moved, like he was angry I didn't obey. In my mirror, the van's door slammed shut and the van lurched after me. The sedan followed too, smooth, steady, lights bright in the rain. I didn't look back again. I just drove. I took the next right without thinking, then another, trying to get back to a main road. My phone buzzed again. Stop. You are on camera. That message made me feel sick because it was both a threat and a lie. In that area, there were cameras, on warehouses, on poles, on gates. But the way it was phrased was meant to make me freeze. I ignored it. At 7:51 p.m., another message. Return now or police. Then another. You took it. We have plate. They weren't wrong about that part. They absolutely had my plate. The van stayed behind me, not right on my bumper, but close enough that I could feel it in the mirror. The sedan held back a little farther, like they were trying to box me without making it obvious. I made the first smart decision of the night. I didn't drive home. I drove toward the nearest place with lights and people. A big gas station on a main road, 24 hours, bright canopy, multiple cameras. At 7:57 p.m., I swung into the lot fast and parked right by the front doors under the strongest light. I jumped out, envelope in hand, and went inside like my life depended on fluorescent lighting. 2 employees behind the counter looked up, annoyed then confused by my face. I need to stand here a minute, I said. Someone's following me. One of them blinked. What? Before he could ask more, the cargo van rolled into the lot. Slow. Casual. Like they were just customers. The sedan followed and parked near the edge. 2 men got out, not running, walking like they belong. Reflective vests. Hoodies. Hands in pockets. They entered the store. The air inside shifted immediately. You feel it when people walk in with purpose and no normal energy. One of them, the guy from my window, looked right at me and smiled again. He said, loud enough for the employees to hear, "There you are." The employee behind the counter frowned. "Everything okay?" The guy didn't answer him. He looked at me and held out his hand. "Give me the envelope," he said. I didn't move. I kept my voice steady, even though it didn't feel steady. "I'm calling the police," I said. He laughed like that was cute. "Go ahead," he said. "Tell them you stole our package." Then he turned to the employee and said, friendly now, "She's our driver. She got confused. We just need the item." The employee looked between us, unsure. My phone was already in my hand. I dialed 911. The man's smile thinned. He stepped closer, just one step, but it was enough. "Don't," he said quietly, and his voice was not friendly at all. I hit call anyway. The dispatcher answered. I gave the location. I said I was being followed by multiple men in a van and sedan. I described them. I said they were trying to force me to hand over an envelope. While I spoke, the man leaned close enough that I could smell rain and something metallic. He said, so softly only I could hear, "We'll wait." Then he backed up and walked out. Both men left the store. They didn't flee. They didn't panic. They stood under the canopy and watched the doors. Like they had all the time in the world. That was the scariest part. Because it meant this wasn't a sloppy robbery. It was a routine. Police arrived at 8:10 p.m. 2 patrol cars. As soon as they pulled in, the cargo van and sedan rolled out the other side of the lot and disappeared like they'd never been there. I gave the officers everything: the timeline, the app messages, the drop-off pin, the phone call with the woman, the threats. One officer asked the question I'd been avoiding. "What's in the envelope?" "I don't know," I said. "It's sealed." He looked at me like I should know. "Open it," he said. My hands were shaking now that adrenaline was fading. I opened the flap carefully and pulled out what was inside. It wasn't cash. It wasn't drugs. It wasn't a weapon. It was a thin folder. Inside the folder were printed sheets. One was a screenshot of my driver profile, my name, my photo, my rating, my vehicle make and model. Another was a sheet with a list of addresses. Not many. 5, maybe 6. All in the Atlanta area. Each line had notes like: door camera. Lives alone. Leaves by 6:40. Blue SUV. My mouth went dry. The officer's expression changed too. "This is surveillance," he said. Then he flipped to the last page. It was a simple printed map screenshot with a pin on it. The pin was on my apartment complex. Under it, typed in clean black text: "Home route, confirm." I couldn't feel my fingers. Because now it made sense why they threatened me with my plate. They didn't need to guess my home. They were trying to verify it. The officer looked at me sharply. "Do you live at that location?" he asked. I forced my voice to work. "Yes." He swore under his breath. "Okay," he said. "Okay. You're not going home tonight." They took photos of the papers. They bagged the envelope. They asked me to show them the app messages. That was my proof moment, because the messages were still there. "Stop. You are on camera. Return now or police. We have plate." The officer told me to screenshot everything. So I did. At 8:28 p.m., while I stood in the gas station parking lot under police lights, my phone buzzed one more time. A new message in the app. Not from the customer. From support. "We noticed unusual activity on this delivery. Are you safe?" It looked official. The officer leaned in to read it. Then he said something that made my skin go cold again. "That's not how support messages look," he said. He was right. The font was slightly off. The phrasing was too clean. Too immediate. It was a fake. They were still trying to get me to reveal where I was. I didn't reply. The officer told me to log out of the app and change my password. I did. Then he told me to shut my phone off for a minute. "Just do it," he said. I powered it off. The silence felt like removing a leash. One officer drove me to a station to take a formal report. Another followed in my car so it wouldn't sit in a lot overnight. At 9:17 p.m., I sat in a small interview room and repeated everything again, slower. They asked if I had enemies, if I'd been in fights, if I owed anyone money. No. 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 The detective who came in looked tired and focused. He laid the envelope contents out like evidence. "These papers," he said, Look like someone is running a scam that uses delivery drivers to collect or move information. The address switches the bait. The meat at the pin is the trap. Why me? I asked. He didn't sugarcoat it. Because your account accepted the job, he said. That's it. I kept thinking about that line on the page. Home route, confirm. Not find. Not track. Confirm. That word implies they already had a guess. They just needed me to complete the loop by driving there. That's why they didn't just grab the envelope and disappear. That's why they chased but didn't crash into me. They wanted me to run the route they'd already pinned. At 10:03 p.m., the detective asked if anyone could pick me up. I called my cousin, who lived in Decatur. He came, no questions, because my voice sounded wrong even to me. I stayed at his place that night. Slept on his couch with a kitchen chair propped under the doorknob like an idiot. The next morning, at 7:40 a.m., I went back to my apartment with police. They didn't find a van. They didn't find men in reflective vests. What they did find made my stomach drop anyway. On the sidewalk near my building's mailboxes, there was a small strip of paper tucked under a rock, like someone wanted it to be found but not blown away. It was a printed screenshot. A map pin. My apartment complex again. And beneath it. Confirmed. The detective stared at it for a long time. Then he said quietly, "They didn't need you." Meaning, they got confirmation another way. Meaning, someone watched me leave yesterday, followed at a distance, and marked it down. I moved out within a month. Not because the police told me to. Because once you know strangers can build a folder on you in a single evening, your car, your routes, your home, you don't get your old sense of normal back. You just get better at pretending. I deleted every delivery app. I changed my phone number. I stopped taking the same roads home. And I still check my mirrors when I pass a white cargo van in the rain. Because I learned the hard way, some jobs aren't jobs. They're tests. And the only winning move is not finishing the route.